Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Carlos, and welcome to the Water Bear Podcast. So you might be watching right now and wondering why is he airing on a Sunday? So always be ready for the unpredictable when you're dealing with Aquarius people because we are a very unpredictable sign at times. So if you watch Thursday's episode, then you know it was scheduled to feature Eric Seats. So due to scheduling conflict, we had to reschedule. And so we're doing that episode right now tonight. So if you're watching, make sure you comment if you have any questions, anything like that. But it's going to be a really, really great show, jam-packed show. So we're going to go ahead and get straight into it. So few housekeeping rules here. So if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and join the family. You can catch future episodes when you hit the notification bell in events like these where maybe we're having a show that's maybe a bit off schedule. You'll get those notifications. Also, definitely welcome to the show. So in case you're wondering what the show is about, maybe it's your first time viewing the Water Bear podcast. Water Bear also represents Aquarius. So I started this show because I wanted to kind of debunk some of the myths about Aquarians, specifically Aquarius men, that we're maybe emotionally aloof and we're detached. Some of those things might be true to an extent, but I feel like it was time to do a show that really addresses that, digs deep into not only Aquarius, but also all of the other 11 zodiac signs as well. So you can catch the drip regularly on every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And also, as we start off every show, a famous Aquarius is Ed Sheeran. That's someone that I mentioned on the last show. And a famous Cancer is Vin Diesel. So, in case you all did not know that, he is a Cancer. So, we're going to go ahead and get into it. So, Eric Seats, I had the pleasure of meeting him. We actually haven't met in person yet, but meeting at least over the phone a few years ago. Actually, it was back in 2015. I used to do interviews with different musical artists, and his is definitely my favorite that I did during that time frame. It was very insightful. I learned a lot about his music, who he's produced for. So if you've watched the clips and kind of promo for this episode, that you know he's produced for a ton of artists, written for a ton of artists, let alone his own music. So everyone from Destiny's Child to 702 to Aaliyah, Shay Jones. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. Also, he is a professional drummer, so he did a show here. I think it was last night, actually, to Mia in Houston, and he's also a drummer, I believe, still for Patti LaBelle as well. So we'll get into all of that here tonight on the show. So I'm really, really, again, excited to have him on. He also has a contest that he's doing called The Next Great Drummer that he's hosting. So he's got many things, many irons in the fire, and also definitely want to get into a Broadway musical that he has in the works too. Want to hear more about that for sure. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring Eric on to join us. Hey, what's going on, Eric?
What's up, soldier? How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm great, bro. How about you?
I am well, man, and shout out to the Drip Show family. My apologies on the rescheduling. Shout out to everybody. I apologize for interrupting the flow of the drip.
No, you are good. You are totally good. And it's the funny thing is I wanted to keep that up. I still kept that episode up. I just kind of talked for maybe like 20 minutes or so. But I love for people to get the kind of like real-time view of it, because I think sometimes some people do podcasts, things like that happen. Sometimes you have to reschedule, things like that. So, I was just glad that you were able to reschedule. So I'm just grateful for that.
Yeah, I was gonna
Hey, that's what's up. That's what's up. Okay. So, well, definitely one of the first questions I ask all of my guests is when their birthday is. So I know you're a Cancer, but if you don't mind sharing when your exact birthday is.
All right, folks, my birthday is June 30th, and I'm a 74 baby.
Hey, that's what's up.
Yeah, June
Okay.
30th, man. So I am a Cancer. It's my zodiac sign.
June 30th. Okay.
Yeah, June 30th.
So I do have a question on that, but before we get into the question, I definitely want to give you the opportunity to expound on your bio and anything that you have going on right now.
Well, I'm a musician at heart, a producer, but I realize the older that I get, I'm probably becoming some sort of Renaissance man because I'm delving into different things. But I'm known. If anybody knows me, they know me for music mainly.
Okay.
But just continuing to grow, so delving into other things as well. But yeah, still hardcore musician.
Right.
And producer.
Man, that's dope. When I watch your posts and everything, I'm like, how does he have time to just live? Because I mean, you're involved in so many different things.
Yeah, I like to keep it, don't let the grass grow under your feet kind of thing. Just keep it moving. There's always something else to do,
That's dope.
And a lot more to learn. So I can't wait to see what I'm good at, really.
Right. And that's I love that you said that, because I feel like sometimes people can get so stuck into what they know they're good at or what they think they're good at. And you might be good at 3 or 4 other things, but you'll never know if you don't try.
Correct. Sometimes that routine or just the structure of, maintaining life will determine a lot of people's paths. But that's when faith has to kick in eventually, right? Start at least chisel away at it,
Right.
So yeah,
exactly.
I'm still that guy too. So yeah.
Hey, that's what's up. Okay. Well, I want to get into your professional and your personal side too, but we'll kind of kick it off with some zodiac-based questions and things that I have for you. So when you told me June 30th, so one question I have for you right off the bat, because I hear this a lot with different signs. Do you believe that there's a difference between June Cancers and July Cancers? And if so, what do you think the difference is?
Man, and I'm gonna be totally honest. This is probably the first time I've even thought about that.
Really? Okay.
Being asked this question right now, I've never been one to sit back and observe that. I only know a few. I'm the people that are coming to mind. I'm trying to figure out what their personalities and their qualities are, but it's because they're not bad people at all. So I don't know. I don't know if there's a difference.
Really?
I don't know if there's a difference. Yeah, because I know how I am, and I'm the kind of, you're not gonna be around me unless we're like-minded in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? So because I just care about my own surroundings like that. So they're not bad at all. So I don't know if there's a difference. I think they're just as caring, or I guess what Cancers assume to be sensitive and probably moody, I guess.
Right. Okay, so you think it's all kind of the same?
I think, yeah. I don't see any differences in the June and July.
Okay. Because it's interesting to me. Now, most Cancers I know are in July, but the few that I do know that are in June, one thing, and I don't know if this is just coincidence or if it really is a difference, but I feel like the June Cancers are in tune. And I think, I just want to say this, I think that Cancers get a bad rap sometimes because a lot of people say, oh, Cancers are the most emotional sign, or they're so emotional. And I don't think I've never looked at it as like emotional to the point where like, you're just flying off the handle with your emotions, but Cancers are to me, very in tune with their emotions. And I found that the June ones, to me, they're just as passionate, but I feel like they're a little less dogmatic with it. Like I feel like the July ones, like they're gonna let you know what they're feeling. If they're feeling bad, you got to come with them. But I feel like the June ones are more chill.
So you made a great point, because when you said that made the difference from the June ones. The term was passionate.
Yes.
The term is passionate because I understand that, and so more passionate than emotional. I say passion is just driven, and you can hear it, and you'll be able to tell. It'll be obvious, it'll be heard and seen probably, but yeah. So wow, you're right. A lot of it's like a lot of advocacy with
right. I just feel that with the June ones that it's a little bit different, but I always say this because the two signs that I click well with usually right off the bat every time are Cancer and Gemini.
Wow.
For some reason I just always click with those two signs. And one thing I always say too is that Cancer, I feel like, is a highly persuasive sign, like probably at least for Aquarius, I'll say, or for me. Y'all have a way of wording stuff that it's like, okay, I might not think about doing that, but because of the way you said it, then it's like, okay.
You consider it?
Yeah, I'll consider that now. Like it might, it might make sense for me to do that. So do you consider, well, first of all, do you consider yourself or Cancers to be emotional? And would you say you kind of fit that stereotype or that mold, or how do you feel about that?
I don't know. I've read the zodiac, over my life, and some things apply. And then when you read certain things, it'll make you consider whether that's your one of your traits or not. But it hasn't been a focus like that. It hasn't really been a major factor for me to try to analyze enough in people to figure out what their sign is. Because and I'm glad I in a way don't do that, because I don't want to hinder anything either. So but I'm very optimistic, but I do understand that I gravitate more to people that are like-minded or at least headed the same direction. And that's emotional. Nah,
I don't see you
probably
that way. Yeah.
I don't hear that.
So would you say you're more the opposite, like maybe more cold emotionally, or what?
Not cold, but honest.
Yeah.
But sometimes honesty could be conveyed as cold because it's usually but yeah, I mean, but there's a way to convey every message. You don't have to be rude with it.
Right.
But you definitely need to be honest, I think. So I'm not cold, but
right.
Hey,
maybe a little chill, but not cold.
Yeah, like let's be real. I'm like my
Okay. And so do you another thing that I know about, and this is just the Cancers I know, well, a couple things. Cancers, I feel, are also very highly intuitive. I would say y'all probably next to Pisces are the most intuitive, I would say. And most Cancers I know, they have no problem letting you know that they are intuitive. So like usually I feel like Cancers are good at kind of like sniffing out lies. And I feel like Cancers don't really have much forgiveness for liars either. It's not y'all, and Taurus, I would say, probably is another
sign. You got everybody down, bro.
It's just based off my experiences.
Man, now you're gonna have me thinking differently.
Really?
I'm as you speak, I'm trying to think of, I guess, different birthdays of people and where they fit into that, and trying to see if that's true. You know what I mean? To see if, that accuracy. But dang.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's what I feel when I look at Cancer. So do you consider yourself to be highly intuitive?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, see, there it is. And I didn't know, to be honest, some of this stuff I feel like I've kind of gotten more into since I've started the show. So like another thing I've been learning and researching is kind of like the complete big three, like your sun sign that everybody knows, and then also your moon and your rising sign. And so I researched mine, and I'm actually a Leo moon and a Leo rising. So it's kind of made me think, like, am I more Leo than Aquarius, even though Aquarius is my sun sign?
Wow.
But I don't know if you're into that, or if you maybe researched.
I was just going to ask you to tell me. I don't know what mine are.
Okay. Well,
my sun or moon.
Okay. There's a link. I can send it to you. But it's pretty simple. If you have the only thing you need to know is basically the time that you were born and the city, and then your complete birthday, like month, day, year. And then it's supposed to tell you based on that your moon and your rising. And they kind of give different information as to, I guess, like who you are as a person.
Yeah. All right. I know that information, so that'll be quick.
Hey.
That'll be quick. Yeah. Now I have to find out now. So you said you're sending that link, right?
Yes, I will send it to you. I'll definitely send it to you after the show. I can't remember the name of it, but it's when I read the description, for me at least, for the Leo moon and the rising, it was pretty spot on. And I found that it's the characteristics of a Leo moon and a rising are slightly different from the Leo sun sign, or what most people know to be is Leo.
I'm getting the education right now, bro.
Hey, hey, you and me both. You and me both. Hey, we got a comment here from OG Micropenis. So thank you so much for tuning into the show. I really, really appreciate it. Now they said I never gave much credit to horoscopes until I found out I'm a Taurus, which makes sense because I've always been attracted to people with obvious red flags.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that's a little toxic right there.
Well, at least now you know and aware.
Well, yeah, that's true.
You
that's
kind of
true,
maneuver.
Don't know.
Maneuver accordingly.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot too. Whoever just left that comment, so I respect that for sure.
Hey, that's what's up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So do you have? And I asked this question to everybody on the show. I'm just curious, and I'm assuming maybe you don't, just based off of the things you're telling me. But just to double check, would you say that there's any sign that you don't click with, and why, if there is one?
Dang, I've never put that into that kind of perspective.
Really? Okay.
I'm thinking of, I guess as you ask the questions, individuals pop up into mind, and I'm trying to think of when their birthdays are. So I'm trying to get it together. I'm trying to produce the answer to the question, and because it's not obvious, it hasn't been let me stay away from. She's born in August.
Right.
Yeah, I never. Dang, these are very good questions though, Soldier, that I have not had to answer yet.
Hey, okay.
And I don't have an answer for. I don't really have an answer for that. I'm as we, I guess I'm trying to produce it now, but man, I'm gonna have to think. But I guess Geminis.
Really?
For some reason.
No, you're not the first Cancer that has told me that. I've heard several other Cancers say they stay away from Geminis.
And it's not a focus. And it's nothing that I'm aware of initially. I'm like, I don't go around asking people when they were born, but
right.
Just to on reflection, thinking like if I've had conflicts, that I guess they
they might be the common denominator. Huh?
Yeah, you got some dope questions, Lo.
I appreciate it.
These are questions that make one ponder. I'm like, yeah. Wow. I'm gonna be up all night trying to think of some answers to
like,
these
hey,
joints later. Like, I should have told him this, and I should have told him now that I think about it.
Right. Okay. Hey, and that's cool because I've had some people say that like they don't really have a sign that they wouldn't click with. So yeah, that's totally cool. Now this is a new question that I've been asking this season, so I'm really curious to see what your answer is going to be for this one. So if you could describe your sign or even just yourself really as a specialty drink, it doesn't have to be an alcoholic drink, but it could be. And what would you describe your sign as in drink form and why?
My sign in drink form would be refreshing in the way of nutrition, like a smoothie, if you will, mixed with things that are good for your gut, things that are good for your thought process. So it would be like vegetables blended in with those tart fruits like pineapple and mango and fruits but like almost in like a wine too, like a nice Cabernet, all of that, the goodness mixed in with a Cabernet or something. That would be dope. Okay, that would be dope. You know what I mean?
Something I can see that.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, I like that, and it's funny that you were saying like the nutrition part, because I definitely feel that cancers have an ability to really be nurturing, and a lot of the things that I've read in the zodiac, and this is male or female, they talk about how cancers are really kind of perceived as the mother of the zodiac.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So y'all are kind of like the,
what's
life
funny?
giver.
I get that. These are seeds that I just got that I'm about to plant, but this is like onions, buttermilk squash, and broccoli. But I'm a Boy Scout / farmer at heart. So that's
cool.
why
I didn't know that.
Talk like that. Yeah. That's what I'll be doing in the next few decades. I'm about to farm.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And I think that's great, because the stuff that people are putting, or the companies are putting in our food, it is not.
Dude, that's another show. That's another show.
It's not. And I say that as I went to the Texas State Fair today and ate all this junk food. But
hey, and another thing that I did not realize you were in Houston. Otherwise, I would have invited you to the show yesterday, man. I didn't know you were in Houston.
Well, you know what? So I'm originally from Houston, but I live in Dallas. But what's funny is last weekend I was in Houston. I was there.
So you weren't there yesterday.
Yeah. No, but I did see your post. About you from the show.
Right on. Yeah, it was a nice show out in Houston, Texas, with Tamia. Shout out to the crew.
Right. Hey, that's what's up.
Good times.
That's what's okay. And so wait, we got another comment. He says, "Okay, I like my women to be like my superheroes, X-Men." He says he's like his women to be X-Men. Okay, hey, so you looking for that storm?
Oh, yeah.
That's what he says he's looking for. Okay.
That's whatever floats your boat, man.
Hey, I know, right?
Yeah.
That's what's up. Okay. And then one last question I have for you on the zodiac front, and then definitely want us to be able to have time to talk about everything that you've done and that you're continuing to do professionally. Now, if you had to pick something as a superpower for cancers, what do you think cancer's superpower is and why?
Ooh. Dang.
Or it could be yours personally.
I'm gonna have to make it personal.
Okay.
Because I can't speak for everybody. So what do I think my superpower would be?
Mm-hmm.
Like bullshit repellent.
Oh,
like I you know what I'm
saying? Okay. And I feel like that's a cancer thing too.
Man, and if I sense it, it's a wrap.
Really? So it's just can you cut off pretty easily?
You're in a compartment now. You know what I'm saying? You're in a category. You have a certain ringtone associated with your name. You either got the Price is Right winning horns or the Price is Right losing horns. Those are my ringtones. And
so
that's how I'm
laughing.
Hey,
Thanks for
we got
to.
Yeah, I'm got to be cautious of where we exude our energies, man.
Yeah, that's true. You do. Yeah, you have to be very cautious. And I think, you know what, the funny thing is, the more we're talking, I feel like either your moon sign or your rising sign might be Aquarius. Only because when you mention compartment, that is something, and I've talked about this a couple times on the show, and I don't usually say things about this about myself, but I'm a master compartmentalizer, like to the point where it really kind of caught up with me, like in a not so good way last year. And so like with dealing with people where I was kind of like putting them in different buckets, almost like where I could look at a person and say, okay, yes, I know you're a whole person, but I'm also blocking you out in these different compartments.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a heavy Aquarius trait.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I don't know. I'd be interested to see.
I can't wait to see that link.
Yes.
I got a lot of questions myself now after this interview.
Hey, that's what's up.
See what's going on.
And good evening, Burnett. Burnett, so for those of you who are watching, she will be a future guest on the show as well. So tomorrow starts Scorpio season, and she is a Scorpio, so she'll be on to rep for Scorpios later this season.
Right on, Scorpio. Is that December?
They are like late October to...
No, that's Capricorn. Never mind.
Yeah. Capricorn is December. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Sagittarius.
Early. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right on.
But yes. Okay. All right. So definitely, I'm really curious to get into some of this. I don't even know where to start on the music front, but just to kind of catch everybody up. So you're a professional drummer, of course. I know you're a songwriter, you're a producer. And so where I first got introduced to you on the music front was the interview we did back in 2015. And I know, right? I can't believe that it's been that much time has passed.
Wow, Carlos.
Yeah, it's 25. I was going through my emails and I went and looked it up. And it was 8 years ago.
I want to see that again.
Yeah. I'm gonna see if I can dig that up or find it, because I know I still have it saved somewhere, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And I know before we get into who you produced for, the songwriting and those stories, what led you to become a drummer? And then did it kind of go hand in hand with the songwriting and the producing, or was it, one first and then it gradually?
The introduction was my dad as a drummer. My dad as a drummer and a producer. Everything that was the whole inspiration initially, for sure. My first favorite, rest in peace to my dad, Leroy Seats Jr. He passed away 2 years ago. But he's the first person that had a drum set at 1 year old. And that hobby, 1 year old, man. And then that led to playing in church as a kid, and then playing around the city, developing into a musician, traveling eventually, going to school for music, and the development. The production for me wasn't initial. That was developed after being a musician on the road already, and then getting into music production with my partner Rapture Stewart. And then getting into it, really delving into it after Rap and I started working together.
Got you.
On the production side, yeah.
So are you still working with Rapture today? Did y'all still
Nah, but we speak often. But life has steered us,
different directions.
into different directions, and he's doing his thing and I'm doing my thing. But that's my brother for life.
Hey, that's awesome.
For life.
That's what's up. Yeah. And I mean, y'all made some incredible music together. Y'all did. Yeah. So for those, and I guess we'll start, like I say, I don't even know who to start with or what to start with on this, but let's start with Destiny's Child. So I was listening to this song the other day, Independent Women Part 2.
Yeah.
That song, now no disrespect to whoever did Part 1, but when I tell you that Part 2, I mean, it really kind of shits on Part 1 to me, if I'm being honest. I mean, I love Part 2. It's
Hey, I will say this, and shout out to those soldiers too. But Part 2 was the real Part 1. The executives didn't think that Part 2 was radio enough, so they created the Part 1 after
the fact.
But shout out to Beyonce, she fought for it. She was like, this is going on the album. She fought for it. She fought for it because she loved it that much, and she was like, because it was killing.
It was, and it was so.
It was different.
Yeah, from anything that was out at the time. I mean, it felt like the best way I could explain it. I mean, and this is not. This is definitely a compliment. It's a good thing. It was almost felt like you were stepping inside of like some type of an audio circus. I mean, it was like so many elements and pieces going on, but all together, it gelled so well.
Yeah. Shout out to Rap Stewart, man. And shout out to Beyonce. That pen is crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So the songwriting. So I know she wrote part of that song, and I know she writes a lot of her music even current day. So how does that process work when you get into the studio with an artist? Is it just kind of, do you present them with the concept of the song and then everybody kind of starts writing, or how does it work?
It's a custom scenario every artist.
Okay.
There's no formula. That's the things to be optimistic going into it. Because this one has qualities that this one doesn't. But as a producer, I believe that it's you're the liaison between conveying that message that they're trying to deliver to a universe of people, right? So the thing is that I guess the word of the day is collaboration. So what I really in this, since we're talking about this, I remember going into that lab in New York and playing at this time we was carrying around DAT tapes. So I was popping in, I had a briefcase, Rap and myself, we had a briefcase full of DATs and discs, for our NPCs. And so Rap was on tour with, I believe, Genuine at the time.
Okay.
And so he was gone a lot of those sessions, but I was just popping in our DATs, and B would listen. She would pick them, write the numbers down that she liked, and then start writing. and start writing. We would put those joints on repeat, let it repeat. Then she would go in there and throw an idea out. So I mean, that was just dope. She's talented.
Yeah. Wow.
She's talented and quick.
I've heard a lot of people say that in regards to her when they've worked with her, that she's very quick. Yeah, I've definitely heard that before. Wow.
It's a gift.
Huh.
It's a gift.
So do you have is there any, and you don't have to name names if you don't want to, but has there ever been a producing or writing experience that you had with an artist that you just left feeling like, okay, this was ridiculous, so crazy, or like something just so unimaginable happened during that session? Do you have anything like that?
Dang, thank God that I don't.
Oh,
I don't
good.
have.
That's good.
And the thing is to not compare one to the other, because budgets are different, teams are different, approaches are different, goals are different. So being able to maneuver is the key to, be flexible and wait in certain ways, but still being professional.
Right.
But I think the mission, being able to, whatever our careers happen to be, executing your job with excellence, that's always what the plan is for me,
Right.
And yeah. So I'm glad that I don't. The ones that stand out, I guess, that are probably, didn't make you feel so good, I guess they were learning lessons.
Okay.
And I would never dog that learning lesson out, I'm not going to dog that lesson out. I'm actually probably grateful that it happened the way it did, because it probably rescued me from some other ventures, maybe,
Oh, okay.
So I think when wisdom kicks in, you can reflect without being negative about the experience that you just happened, your path. I'm not complaining about my path at all. I think everything was something that was chiseling away at some education,
Right. Okay. So on the songwriting front, and then just kind of transitioning a little bit, and kind of, I guess, staying in the same vein a little bit, because I know Destiny's Child, even though they're not active or together now, but they were, really at their height at that point, when you worked with them. So another girl group, and I didn't know this until maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, that I found out that Where My Girl's At was originally meant for TLC.
Oh, yeah.
So how did that, because what's funny is, so I was reading T-Boz's memoir, and at the time she felt like they knew, well, I guess it was more so T-Boz and Chili, because from my understanding, Left Eye wanted them to do the song. I think T-Boz and Chili kind of felt like, well, if they do it, they might sound like Total or another group, because I think at that time you also had Total was out and they were working with Missy and stuff a lot too, and they didn't want to have that same sound.
I was about to say that sound is Missy, that's Missy. Shout out to Missy. But
you wrote on the song. You and Rapture wrote on the song, though, right?
Myself, Rapture, and Missy.
Okay.
Yeah. So and then and thank God, and rest. Shout out to 702 and rest in peace to Irish. Who just recently passed, man. Shout out to her family, and Corey Taylor and the crew. But but 702 killed it.
They did.
I think that was meant for 702.
I do too. I think that was a meant to be situation. Yeah.
I think everything happens the way it should. And so I never reflect on that story, because I just understand that was for 702. They needed that.
It's actually, to me, of all of their commercial singles, and really, to be honest, their whole catalog, I would say that might be my favorite song of theirs. It probably definitely top 3, I would say, for sure. I love that song. Yeah.
I love their first album too. It's a blessing to be able to say is all the artists that we eventually worked with, I was a fan of prior working with them, and that was a blessing to be able to end up in the same studio, the same circumstance, and then on the same airwaves as these people that I admired before we ever worked with them. So that's a blessing, you know.
That is.
But I thought 702 was tight.
Yeah, yeah.
At first I was like, yeah, Stilo.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. And at that time, I feel like too, the thing that's kind of missing in some of today's music is at that time you had so many different groups out, but everybody was able to shine.
Correct.
You know, it didn't seem like it was this competitive thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was there's still room.
Yeah.
But it was less focused on comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you know, that got goofy, didn't it?
Yeah. Yes, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. And so and another one, actually, when I was pumping up the show, a lot of people were sending me messages about your work with this person. So I'm sure you know who I'm about to bring up, with Aaliyah.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah. And that, I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm not just saying this because you're on the show, but I love all of her music. And not to make a comparison, but at the same time, I definitely want to give you your flowers where I believe they're due. So when that album came out, as the streets call it, the Red Album. People seem like they call it that more than they call it Aaliyah, but
right.
So when that album came out and I listened to it, I remember thinking, this is gonna be classic, like 20 years from now. No lie.
Are you serious, Los?
Yeah, I'm so serious because the song sounded so timeless, and then like the first time I heard. Now I will say, 1 in a million, whoever was in charge of picking those singles, I think they were spot on because those were the best songs of that album. But I would say cohesively as an album, Aaliyah is my favorite album because I feel like she really, and with, of course, with your help, really pushed the boundaries on that record and did a lot of things that, and she took some big risks because, I think people were so used to hearing, Timbaland and Aaliyah. Like that was the thing that people would kind of got used to hearing. So when she switched it up like that, I think it was a shock. But I remember even to this day, like when Rock the Boat, if it comes on the radio, I never turn from it because that song is just so, that song is classic to me.
See, thank you, Lord, for that. Yeah, I appreciate that compliment, man.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah. So how was that? Well, how did that come to be, and how did that process go? Working on that album, because y'all, you and Rapture together, as Key Beats, y'all produced, I want to say, the majority of that album, didn't you?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was a blessing. We didn't know how it was going to turn out. Shout out to J Dub, shout out to Butter, shout out to Tank, shout out to Missy, shout out to Tim, shout out to Static, rest in peace. Shout out to Black, Smokey. The camp, man, was just this ball of talent. And here's the word, team. It was a team effort. So that team effort. But yeah, Rap and I didn't know. We were so hungry and just purely expressing ourselves through music. We weren't listening to anybody, and we didn't care about fitting in. And that's one of the main things that she kept, she admired that, because she just knew it's not going to feel like nobody else would. Because we didn't want to blend. We don't. Our goal is not to blend in. We're not trying to blend in. What's the purpose of that? Right. So we didn't. You kind of approach it like with this "I don't care" attitude. And it kind of works though, because it was still it was like, somebody's gonna appreciate this, and you don't know what's happening when it's happening. It's funny. So, we didn't know that it would end up being what it would be. But it was just an honesty there and a trust.
Okay.
I guess I love the fact that, Black and Static was trusting our delivery, our thought process as far as the tracks went, and that they understood them, because a lot of our tracks went over a lot of artists' heads, So
yeah, I can imagine.
When you get somebody that you can mesh with, and then you just they trust your shit, and you just want to start giving them more and more and challenging them a little bit. They were just accepting it, and it was just like, damn, okay, rap, what else can we do? Let's be let's be us.
Yeah.
Let's be us. We don't have to try to sound like anybody. We can be rapping ECs and be just fine, and that it worked out. Thank God. That's my guy. You know what I mean? That crew though, that crew that did that whole project from management on down, that was it's a team effort. And that's probably what I feel like is lacking a lot today. You don't have that
music industry.
Oh my God! It used to be like a football team showed up to the thing,
Right. Not now.
No, nah.
So what do you think? Well, first a comment, and then definitely a question I want to ask you around that. So I do agree with what you're saying about not wanting to fit the mold, and a lot of the songs probably, I can imagine they probably did go over a lot of other artists' heads. Because one track that comes to mind is, and I would have loved to hear, had Aaliyah still been with us, more songs with y'all, because I feel like y'all gave her a different direction. And one of the songs that really stands out on the Aaliyah album to me is It's Whatever.
Ooh, that's my jam too, man.
That song is one of my favorite Aaliyah songs, period.
Yeah, man. I did the track, and Rap played the piano over it.
Okay.
And we left it naked.
Yeah.
We didn't want to fill it up. And it came out magical. I love that track. It came out magical.
Yeah, it really did. It did. And I could definitely see how that song in the wrong hands, in the wrong artist's hands, wouldn't be able to appreciate it.
Hey man, that's another thing. That's Static though. That's Static. He, because when he would go write for other people, it would be he'd write for them. And it wasn't gonna be Baby Girl, Right. So that's a gift that Static had too, Rest in peace to that soldier.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. Okay. And then what I'm curious about from your perspective of being in the business, do you think that lack of, like you said, that whole team feel around a lot of artists, do you think it's because it's so accessible for artists to get their music out now? It seems like there's not really a process. I mean, you can just do it yourself and upload it, and I mean, it just seems like a lot of those checks and balances are gone.
That's exactly it, and that's the mentality. But to each his own. That I get it, because that college or high school student that doesn't have the means or the time or the relationships to manifest their dreams, if they're able to get it off and their own contribution and their own, you can't knock it.
Right.
You can't knock it, their expression. You can't stop it either. But there will always be another bracket from a development, from a team effort, because that energy that you get from other people's not only gifts but professionalisms and just other avenues that you need could determine the longevity in it. I think, and if you're gonna do it, you want to do it for real. Do it right once. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and not be this fly by night type of artist. Yeah.
That's my approach to a lot of different things. I guess if I do it right the first time, I won't have to revisit it or try to maintain it so hard.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. And none of us can predict anything, man. Just we just rolling with how it comes, So for us, you just have to adjust to what's going on. I still love to produce. I do it. I don't do it to make a living, but you can make a living from it. And it's still, it depends on who you're talking to. You know what I mean? Everybody's gonna have a different reply. But yeah, my seriousness is still just as serious as it was from the very first radio song that everybody heard,
Right. That's dope. Man, okay. So I guess switching gears a little bit. So I know you are a drummer for several artists. I mean, I know, for one, I know Tamia, Patti LaBelle. I'm sure there's probably others too. So how are you balancing? Because I know you're doing that, and then as well as you have the Next Great Drummer, I believe is the name of the competition. Yeah, that, and then you also have a Broadway musical that you're working on called Timeless, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Those things. The Next Great Drummer has been kind of not put on hold, but we're going to revise it. So that has not been a major time consumer lately, as of late. But and we'll revisit it when the time is right. Timeless is something that I've been working on for years now, and I just recently had a nice connection about that. I won't speak too much on that, because it's too fresh,
Right.
But that is a dream of my. I guess what I should say. Timeless is a Broadway musical that I'm working on. It was inspired by. I graduated from a performing arts high school, and we had our first 10-year class reunion years back, and I was just looking around at the amount of people that weren't doing what they went to the school for professionally or making a living from it. And so I wanted to, I guess what I thought of doing is producing something that I could hire these people in all these different departments, because the theater is the one thing that you can bring dance, visual arts, music, and acting all into the same, that would be my contribution. So that's what inspired Timeless. It's in the works, and I don't know when that's going to happen, but it'll be great when it does happen. And when it does happen, it'll last for a long time. It'll be timeless.
Hey, that's right. That's right.
Then,
hey, that's what's up.
But other than that, it's been mainly touring with Miss Patti LaBelle, which is a major blessing, because I mean we're all over the world all the time with her, because she's revered everywhere she goes.
Yes.
And it's just good to see, or being able to work with a living legend and an icon, and she's still relevant too. So
to this day,
just learning, and it's just not the music game. She's dominating in the food game, and the Walmarts and the Targets now, and the I think what's the grocery store? Another grocery store. I can't think of it now, but just the empire is impeccable. And so just looking at that and learning that there's another area to grow into, that's inspiring. But and Tamia and all those the artists. So the drumming is never going to leave me. I don't want to, I can't imagine, I don't want to stop playing. It's, as long as I'm able to, I would like to play. Because it's like working out.
You just get into the routine of doing it and you enjoy it. Since one, man, I still can't get over that. Wow,
that's one. I got. They said I was playing before I was talking.
Wow,
it's crazy. I got pictures of them giving me a drum set under the Christmas tree, and I was in diapers, a little afro and diapers. My first kit, and it's still. There will always be drums in my home.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. Well, I definitely thank you again for being on. This has been amazing. I feel like this could go on for several hours, but I definitely want to respect your time. Before we close, though, there is a game that I play with everybody. It's a quick 5 questions game, and it's called Dead in the Water. So kind of the concept of it is I'll give you 2 things. It's a this or that choice. And so instead of telling me the one that you like the best, you'll tell me the one that you like the least or the one that you would throw in the water.
Got it.
Yes. So yeah. So it's just different questions. Some of the stuff is based. I try to tailor it to each guest. So I'm definitely what your answers are. If you can't pick one, that's fine too. Because some people say, well, I can't throw either one of them away. So this is the start of the game. So the first question I have is, Where My Girls At or Independent Women Part 2? If you got to get rid of one, which one would it be?
Dang. Part 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And why would you say that?
I'm just thinking of this radio play.
Okay, so in all
I'm thinking about the royalties.
Yeah, so I can imagine Where My Girls
That's
At
why.
probably a bigger check. I can.
Okay,
I got you. That's fair. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so songwriting or producing?
Ooh, producing.
Okay. So
wait, you said throwing one in the water?
Right.
Oh, songwriting.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So you enjoyed the producing aspect more?
Because I can do that in my sleep. Songwriting I have to think about.
That makes sense. Okay. All right. So when it comes to conflict resolution, do you prefer talking it out or having space to think? Which one would you get rid of?
Talking it out.
Okay. You want your space to think about it.
I need to think.
Okay. I'm with you on that. Okay. And so I don't know if you're into horror movies, but since this is Halloween season, I threw this question in there too. So Jaws or Texas Chainsaw Massacre? If you got to get rid of one,
Texas Chainsaw.
Okay. So you would keep Jaws.
Keep Jaws.
Okay.
Classic.
Yeah, I was about to say, of the two, I feel like Jaws is more classic. Yeah.
It's the bigger brand.
Yeah, that's true. It is for sure. Okay, and last question. So we're into, getting into the cooler months here. So between these two, chicken pot pie or chili, which one?
I love chicken pot pie, so chili gotta go.
Chili gotta go. Okay,
yeah,
all right.
I love chicken pot pie.
Do you cook it too, or do you cook?
I sure do. I sure do. Yes. Yeah, awesome. Hearty, awesome. Good fall meal, good fall winter meal. Ooh.
Yes, for sure. Okay.
But that was hard because I love chili too.
Yeah, I do too.
But I don't make chili as much as I do pot pie.
Pot pie. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. Well, cool. But unless there's anything else that you have that you want to, leave with the guests that are listening or watching,
I definitely feel free to do that. Shout out to the drip congregation here. I appreciate y'all for having me.
Of course.
I definitely want to shout out some new music that I'm into right now. It's called Euphony. This is a group, a duo, myself and a young lady named Jaya. That we have new music coming out, a new album coming out. That if you love anything that I've done, you'll love this because it's just I believe in it and I love it. What's going on? The music that's coming out. So I can't wait for y'all to hear that. Follow us on IG, and that's at EU_PHONY.
Okay.
Or you can follow at Eric Seats 333 or at Dose of Jaya, DOSE of OF Jaya, JYA. And that's it, man.
Hey, okay, I'm definitely gonna be looking out for
this interview. I really enjoyed this.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I enjoyed it too.
I gotta do some research after this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna find that link for you too, and I'll make sure to send you that. And Renette also chimed in. She said, "Boo, throw Jaws away." So she actually likes Texas
Chainsaw. I'm not knocking that. I just don't remember much about Chainsaw Massacre I haven't seen it lately, so I don't remember anything about that movie. The Jaws, okay. I guess I've seen Jaws not recently, but I just remember different things about that. Gotcha. But hey, shout out to you though. It's your movie preference.
That's what's up. But yeah, thank you again, Eric. I know you are super busy, so I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join us this evening.
Thanks for having me again, man. I appreciate that. And if you can find that 2015 link, shout it out.
Oh yes, I will. I'm gonna look for it, and when I find it, I'm gonna send it to you.
And then let me know how I can promote this one too.
Okay, I sure will,
man. God bless y'all, man. Peace.
All right, God bless.
All right.
Appreciate it.